The first step in a knowledge and wisdom-based pricing process is where you reverse the order that the industry has suggested regarding your listing or marketing presentations. Virtually all industry textbooks for decades have suggested that we begin listing presentations by first broaching the subject of marketing with price to follow. I believe this is very, very counterproductive because many home sellers are much more anxious about price, and because they are anxious about price, when many realtors begin by saying, well, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my company and a little bit about myself and what we do to market homes, or if somebody begins by saying, how are you going to select an agent? They don't even say realtor. How are you going to select an agent? Are you going to pick somebody that will just tell you whatever it takes, or somebody that will tell you the truth, which hideous beginnings? When people begin by starting about themselves or their company, it compels many homeowners to have to interrupt you. And when a homeowner is forced to interrupt you, they subconsciously resent you for causing them to manifest rudeness within their own home. And therefore, it becomes very difficult for them to want to do business with you. Moreover, oftentimes if a home seller says, geez, can we just get to the price, or you don't have to sell me in yourself? Even worse is when a realtor says, oh, we'll get to that. Oh, bear with me. I'll be covering that, because that's very, very frustrating for home sellers. So therefore, I respectfully suggest that you forego that practice for the rest of your career, and instead you begin every marketing proposal, every relationship building conversation with home sellers by starting this way. Folks, this evening I'd like to review with you some marketing strategies as well as some pricing strategies. We can begin either with the marketing and then move on to the pricing, or if you prefer, we can begin with the pricing and then move on to the marketing. Now, by beginning by giving people a choice, keeping in mind that many, if not most, home sellers are going to say, well, why don't we begin with the price? That means that you are in accordance with the wishes of what people have in terms of this process, and they respect that. I recommend that you say to home sellers, folks, I don't want to help you select the highest possible price. I want to help you select the highest realistic price. You see, home sellers want the highest possible. You want the realistic. That's a comforting synthesis, the highest realistic price. So after you go through the three pricing strategies, some people want to price their home based on the appraisal. Some people want to price their home lower. Some people want to put it a little higher because they think buyers might actually try to negotiate. After you've done these three, they're then going to say to you, but now they trust you, time and tone here, they're going to say, well, Alan, what do you think? At that point in time, I'm going to say, well, folks, I think we've got to make sure that we don't put your property on the market at the highest possible price. I think we put it on at the highest realistic price, but let's discuss it and let's go over buyer behavior in today's marketplace. The first pyramid is one that I featured in a book that I wrote, and I designed it to capture the advice and powerful assertion once made by noted journalist Eric Sevareid. The pyramid, as you see, reinforces Sevareid's theory that in the information age, the least valuable element for professionals seeking to provide value to society is at the bottom, and that is in the world of data. Let me also introduce another pyramid, one which I have egotistically, admittedly, named Dalton's Real Estate Career Pyramid. But in order to appreciate my pyramid, I first need to showcase the inspiration for my blatant plagiarism. That would be the iconic Maslow's hierarchy of needs pyramid. And as you can see here from the illustration, this represents the noted psychologist Maslow's work in 1943. It was a theory related to human motivation. Maslow declared that there is a motivational hierarchy, and that before any of us can go on to one need, we first have to satisfy the antecedent need. The two questions that were posed by this premier business journal, an educational journal, there were two questions. The first question went as follows: what do you do that your competitors also do, but that you do better? Let me repeat that. What do you do in your real estate career that your competitors also do, but something that you do better? And the second question was, what do you do in your career that none of your competitors do? Again, what do you do in your career that none of your competitors do? That when a home seller asks you, well, how are you different, that you resist the temptation to focus on the lower level of personal differentiation and you ascend to the next level of consumer or client service and representation by saying the following: folks, rather than focus on how I'm different, I'd rather focus how we have to make your property different. You see, I do not compete against other realtors here in Boca Raton as much as your property, your home, competes against other homes in the market. I actually cooperate with the other realtors, but your home does not cooperate with the competitive properties on the market. So the way that I'm different is how we're going to establish what's different about your home to buyers locally, nationally, and internationally. See, what I just did there for those of us now as part of the coaching program online is that I ascended again from the personal differentiation level on the pyramid to a higher self-actualized and self-esteem level where I can now focus on their needs as opposed to my immediate needs.